You asked me about my bucket list. Well, I'm afraid to get on a down escalator, so I'm not likely to ride a zip line or to do anything daring like skydive. I suppose on my bucket list, the one thing I do want to do is to rock a great grandbaby. We'll see if that happens in the next few years. I've had a very full life. I was a mischievous child, and growing up, our mother tried to dress us. She did. She dressed us alike. We had to stand on a chair while she heated a curling iron on a stove and made poker curls from us and took pictures of the back of our heads. She was so proud. She also made all of our own clothes. And to do the patterns, we would lay on the floor on newspaper and she would cut around us. We dressed alike until I was probably 12 years old. And we weren't allowed to wear blue jeans. We had to wear dresses, and we went to a country school where everybody dressed like country school kids. And there we were in our dresses. It was most difficult for me to feel like I fit in. I was mischievous though. Once a group of us decided to swing on the curtains on the stage, and for that I got a paddling. Paddling at that time was a ruler on your hands, but I didn't mind. It was worth being like the other kids at that time, being mischievous. I love my family. We have a great family, and I appreciate the times that we're able to get together, not just at holidays, but on a regular basis during the year. When there's a birthday or what we call our Monday night suppers, where different families take responsibility for cooking the meal. I will have to say, my youngest daughter has almost made it a competition because she wants to fix the best food of anybody, and she pretty much succeeds. But all the others cook very good meals as well. So we have a good time. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of talking. And if I want to talk, I usually have to raise my hand because there are a lot of talkers in my family. I've lost loved ones as they've gotten older, and it makes me appreciate that my husband and I have come to this stage in our life where we still have a good life after 56 years. By the way, to be married that long, I suggest you be on a year-to-year contract. We are. And we do have to laugh at ourselves with changes in our ability to hear. It makes for some very interesting conversations because I will say one thing and he hears it as something else, and the response is not always appropriate. So we just laugh about it. It has been a very good life. I think if I were to wish for this generation, I would wish for peace. Peace in the world, but peace especially here at home. The end of lots of drugs, lots of gang wars, lots of anything that takes away the joy of being in America. You asked me about my accomplishments, and I still feel that my greatest accomplishment are our families. I mean, family is just wonderful. But I have been quite fortunate over the years. I became a nurse many years ago in RN, and then I had the opportunity to go to the first program that they had at UNC in Chapel Hill to become a nurse practitioner. And that changed my nursing career considerably. At one time, I was on the North Carolina legislature for looking how to control medical costs. Well, obviously, we did not succeed. That was an interesting experience, though, because it challenged me to think about how we can save money for patients and for people to stay, and how to keep them healthy. So I had an opportunity to open the healthcare center at SAS Institute in Cary, and able to prove that on-site health care was very, very cost-effective because we could see the patients on site. They didn't have to leave to go to the doctor and then stay gone a half a day or a whole day. And then the lab work that we did, our contract, we didn't really have to pay great expenses for lab work, so the patients could be seen free at that time, and it proved to be very, very cost effective. And now it's grown to be even larger and a very important part of SAS Institute's idea for healthy employees. We have been very lucky over the years. The legislative experience was good, and I guess if I had one wish to do before my life is over, I would like to be on another committee looking at medical costs and better ways to implement the care and promotion of health in America. I learned about the difference in healthcare. When I left SAS, I became a traveling nurse practitioner. My idea was to study humor in the different organizations, mostly with Native Americans. So for nearly 10 years, I did travel nursing called locum tenens and worked with a number of different Native tribes as well as other people. I worked from Alaska to Ocracoke and even in Boston, and the assignments were mostly 3 or 4 weeks, up to 4 months on my first assignment in Alaska. What I learned was not so much the difference in humor, although in Alaska they call those of us from the lower 48 as being too loud, laughing too much and too loud, and they didn't laugh out loud a lot. I decided it was because it was so cold up there. But it was an interesting experience. When I worked in the humor that I found in Montana was different because my name tag said Jimmy K. Butts, and before they could answer what the K stood for, which is Kennedy, before I could say Kennedy, they said to me, "Your new Indian name is Jimmy Kicks Butts." Well, I didn't think my grandchildren would appreciate that I was called. I still get mail to Jimmy Kicks Butts, and I use it a lot in doing my humor presentations. In fact, the 5th graders that I spoke to once thought it was just hysterical that my Indian name was Jimmy Kicks Butts. And one of the letters I got said, "Dear Jimmy Kicks Butts, ha ha ha." Now this is from a 5th grader. "We really liked all that neat Indian stuff you brought to our classroom, especially the shiny glass blobs. You told us what the colors meant in Cherokee medicine. And then you said because we'd been so good, we could each take one. I got blue, and blue means truth. And the truth is I took 3. I'm so sorry to have dishonored you." So it's been interesting to use humor in even some serious situations. And I've been lucky. Once they even named me Nurse Practitioner of the Year for North Carolina. I think that had to do with getting compensation for nurse practitioners that were serving in a psychiatry capacity. It's just been a great life. Now that we're retired and we've been through a number of dogs, but this whole family loves their dogs. And this one loves to take a nap with me, even though he's wild when he's energetic. Life has been good.